the honours. Welcome to another episode of the Alphawaves pod. You are here with your hosts, Cam.
And Darren.
I don't know why today. Thought, let me flip the script and try and catch you off guard.
I liked it.
Didn't quite work.
I thought it worked.
No, I meant I was trying to catch you off guard.
Oh.
But you was on point as always.
As always. Never miss.
Are you good?
I am excellent. How are you?
Good as well, you know. Yeah. We'll leave it as that as always. Today.
Yes.
We wanted to, I should say.
Yeah, it was a joint decision today on the topic.
No flipping of coins this week.
No flipping of coins this week. We knew what we came here to do.
And what we came here to do was network.
That's correct.
Yeah, so we wanted to touch on
networking.
Because I feel like it's one of those things that's thrown around all the time. Like,
yeah.
But when you really dig deep into networking, I don't think it's as daunting as it. Some people it's daunting.
Let's start with the surface, because I'm definitely one of those people who, when I hear the word networking, it is daunting to me.
It seems like such a to-do to get anything in life. Like you hear it all the time.
Yeah.
What's the phrase? Your network is your net worth.
Oh.
You've not heard that before?
No.
Oh, I can't even act
lessened my anxiety around networking.
I can't even act like I've made it up now. We're on big public YouTube.
I like that. Your network is your net worth.
Yeah.
That's so true.
But I think there's layers to it. And that even just hearing that phrase can make people do crazy things to try and network.
Like what?
I don't know, like just overcompensate. I've seen people do the like nasty, like
what?
When I say nasty, I mean like more like.
I was like, whoa!
What I mean
networking
is like,
events?
No, you know, like when you see someone just doing too much, and you just think to yourself, "Well, to each his own. To each his own." But I've looked at them and I've like, I can never do that just to try and get in touch with someone.
But what is it though that they're doing?
Just
because this is a good example of bad networking, because I feel like I'm actually quite good at networking when I'm not thinking about the fact that this is networking.
Yeah. I mean, again, obviously it depends on the person on the receiving end as well. But I've been at events and I've seen like, so there might be this prominent person in the room, but the people around them are just as important, right? So say like, excuse me, I was trying to hold that in, so I was mincing my words. Say, for instance, there's Elon Musk is in the room. You know who that is?
Yes,
I'm
of
joking.
course I know.
There's Elon Musk in the room, right? And he's there with his brother. I don't know if he has a brother. So
this was just such a random.
Yeah. But say like now you want to talk to Elon. I've seen it go two ways. I've seen people try and befriend the brother, as in overcompensate, like, oh, hey, try use that person to get to Elon. And I've seen the flip side where they've ignored everybody around Elon just to get to Elon. So disrespect that person, like maybe brother's a bit too much, but say like even they're with business their driver, business partner, whatever. Disrespect that person will be like, oh, hey. And they're just like, yeah, Elon. Like, do you know what I mean? Doing too much in that sense. So I think it just depends on the receiving end, because the person on the receiving end might like that. Because they might like the whole power trip.
Maybe, but I feel like they won't take you as seriously because it feels like you're talking to a fan. So you have to know the difference.
That's a great way to put it. I could have just said fan behavior.
There you go. Fan behavior.
Yeah.
Like, say what I said, sure. But that's fan behavior.
I've seen fan behavior. And I think it's a bit excessive at times.
Yeah, it's kind of like brown nosing at work, you know, when like the head of something is around or the CEO and suddenly everyone's like dying to talk to him. And I feel like, I think one thing I do well, but also I can go either way depending on how impactful that person is to me or how I find them, I guess. But I feel like either I will completely ignore them because I am...
Are you doing that purposely?
No, I'm just shell shocked. But
Is that your phone?
yeah,
Oh,
I was gonna ignore it.
No, it's cool. It's cool. It's so far, it sounded like next to me, but it's so far away.
Yeah, you know what? But that happens to me all the time. Where someone else's phone will buzz and it will be mine. So I just didn't even think that it might be
I'm
mine.
sure my phone's not on there,
But then I realized it was mine, and I was like, let's stay focused. But
Yes.
apparently,
not all of us are.
professional.
Anyway,
But anyway,
back to the point.
Yeah, so I'll be too like starstruck and just cannot be around them at all. Or, which fortunately is what happens most times, I don't know, I just kind of let things happen naturally, you know, because if there's someone that you want to speak to, I really believe in intention setting and just letting things unfold. And that doesn't mean ignoring them or whatever, but you might end up meeting someone who introduces you to them or something.
So you don't see it as doing nothing. You're just
I don't see it as
happen.
doing nothing. Yeah, but also not exactly letting it happen. Just knowing that not everything is by force, you know?
2 questions off the back of that. Number one, in those situations, do you try and make your presence felt though? Or your presence be known?
You know what? This is going to sound however it sounds, but I feel like my presence is always felt.
Next question.
I just feel that way because I just feel like when I'm in a room now, you know, and I'm in that room.
I hear you. Main character syndrome and that.
It's not an illness.
I didn't say it.
But I got it though.
And
yeah.
If nothing comes of the night, like, so there's this person that you would love to speak to, but you don't even get close to speaking to them. Do you leave with regrets? Like, oh, I should have done more to try and network.
Not really, because if there's someone I really want to speak to, it's not even like, oh, I'll find a way. I will do it somehow, you know? So how do I describe that in a tangible sense? So either I'll warm up with other people in the room first, get to know, because it's true what you said, everyone in the room is important. And until you know what everyone in the room does, how do you know who's worth talking to or not? You just
100.
don't, you know? And I see things more than just what that person can do for me in a business sense or on a project level or, you know, what is in my head. It's also like, what else could this person be to me? You know, could this person be teaching me something on a emotional sense or a mental sense? Could this person end up being a mentor to me? You just kind of have to have, or teach me something that I didn't even think I needed to learn in a business or whatever sense. You just never know what a connection could be. So I'm quite open-minded with that. But also, sometimes if there's someone in your head that you really, really want to talk to, I feel like I like to do things without pressure. Like I like them to be natural.
Yeah.
And I also like I said, I'm not a fan, you know, like if I'm trying to make a connection that's in a business way or with that kind of intention in mind, then I also want to be respected. So I don't want to just jump on that person. So I'll kind of like speak to other people, get myself comfortable in the space, and then introduce myself to them. And I'll definitely say like, oh, you know, I was really hoping to speak with you, blah, blah, blah. I love this, that, and the other.
Be transparent.
Yeah, transparent is the word. Be transparent.
Are you ever, or have you ever felt intimidated in those situations to go and speak to someone? Like you hold them in such high regard that you feel a bit intimidated, or you second guess or overthink your approach?
Definitely. I think I do that anyway all the time. So
fair play.
It's natural, you know, like definitely but it's more like, what do they think of me? You know, how am I coming across?
This is prior to you approaching them or once your conversation started?
I think once the conversation has started.
You see, when the conversation started, do you ever like get in your head and think, oh my God, this is the moment. This is the moment. Like, as in, if I don't nail this now, this opportunity is kind of, I could ruin it for myself, basically. Or do you just let it flow?
I let it flow. Not really, because in my head, I'm just like, I don't know what the moment's going to be. You know, it kind of happened the other day where I went to this creative event and I saw these two people who looked really cool, and they both had, you know, cool jobs in fields that I'm interested in, and, you know, creative fields. And I had my eye on them and I saw them outside, and I just went up to one of them, asked them for something, and then we just got to talking, and I asked them about the event. And in that moment, I did definitely feel overexcited on the inside, because I was like, oh, I'm talking to this happening. But at the same time, I think the thing that makes me feel more comfortable is not just thinking, because those thoughts are natural when you're thinking, oh my God, what are they thinking of me? Blah, blah, blah. But it's just being in the moment and enjoying the conversation with them. And also thinking when they tell me something like, oh, they can help me with that if the opportunity came around, you know, and letting it unfold naturally. Because I think one of the worst things you can do in networking is force a connection in that moment.
Definitely.
That the other person doesn't want to follow up on. Like, you want to have some kind of connection that you've made in the moment that they actually do want to hear from you afterwards.
I think that's what a lot of people get wrong sometimes, is that and now or never feeling.
Yeah.
I get it, because some people, you think that you're never going to get that opportunity to have this conversation with them again, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, you've kind of got to show some level of patience and also add value to it.
Yeah.
Because it's all well and good that you want to speak to this person and you want to network with this person, but what is the reason for them to want to continue this conversation with you outside of this conversation? And I think a lot of the time, you just got to let it flow. I mean, I've been in situations before where there's someone that I've seen in the room or something like that. And I'm like, it'd be good to talk to them. And then just somehow we end up talking. And then when you're talking, you're like, oh, we're actually just talking.
Because that's a strong intention. Like, you can't underestimate the power of
but
an
I
intention.
think you have to also bring back the human element to the person that you're talking to.
Yes, I was going to say that, like, the thing that, the value, the thing that makes them want to communicate with you afterwards, it's not just what you can offer them or what they can offer you, but also that authenticity, you know, to know that you're seeing someone human to human. That's truly how you connect.
Literally. Because it's easy to say, but there's no difference between them and you except that they are who they are, let's say. But it doesn't make them a different person. It's only because you're familiar with this person. Because if you just walked in a room and you didn't know what they'd done, you just speak to them. How many times have you been in a place? There's been, like, there might be the showpiece, let's call them that, the showpiece talent or business person in the room who you're all there for. Then you get to speaking to someone random that you just think's another normal person. Then you realize, oh, you're like up there as well, but you're not out there as much.
Yeah.
Like, you can offer even more than this person.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's the thing as well. Excuse me. You see, so I've been at events, right? Or just locations, and you think that you need to talk to the main person, but there's someone, your peers on your same level, even a little bit higher, whatever, that can offer you a lot more than that person can, despite that person being super successful. You're where you are in your stage, you need to network with the people around you more than the person up there. Does that make sense?
That does make sense. That's such a good point. I didn't think of it like that.
It happens a lot. People just disregard the people.
Go on the steps, step by step, and be in your means as well with what step you're on. Even
another thing that seems like tips, right?
They are.
Another thing that people overlook also when it's networking is your resource pool. Like, it doesn't necessarily have to be strangers that you're networking with. There's people that you know already that you've just never had a conversation in terms of your business ideas or your plans, your career paths, your goals, whatever, and they share the same thing. That's still classed as network. That's that's you building a network. It doesn't always have to be.
So those conversations, do you get those going at the time or after? Like, how much do you share? How vulnerable do you need to be in a networking situation?
I think you've got to take away a layer of, what's the word I'm thinking of? Like when you're clouding something with mystery.
Doubt.
Different word.
I'll get there. Clouding something with mystery.
Do you know, like when you're being shielded, like what's the word I'm thinking of? You know, when you don't want to share too much.
Oh, there is a word. Private. Secretive.
Secrets. However you want to label it.
Guarded.
Yeah, when you're being guarded
We
with
got
your
there. I feel like we're
ideas.
playing charades.
Such an easy word as well, because we basically said it.
Yeah.
When you're being guarded with your plans, and I think you've got to strip a layer back when you're in these networking situations, because there might be somebody there that can actually just genuinely help you. But if you're being too guarded, they're never going to be in that position to even have that conversation.
Or for you to even know that they could be capable of helping you with something. It's so true. That's why I love just when I'm out, not even thinking that I'm networking. I'm just getting to know people and then asking them questions as I would with anyone else.
Yeah.
Well, any new person, obviously. Can't be crazy. But yeah, just doing that. And one thing I like to go by as well is my own inner guidance system with that. Like, who am I naturally feeling drawn to? Because you can go in thinking I need to speak to that person or this person, but who do I naturally feel a sense of, curiosity with?
That's where it comes down to. But so say when you go to, I mean, you can network anyway, but let's talk about events first of all, before we move on to anything else. How do you work the room? Do you go there with an intention to work the room in a certain way?
So what kind of events are you talking about? Like a music event, a creative event?
Let's say a creative event.
Yeah, a creative event. So when I go there, I think it's always in the back of my mind that I want to connect with creative people, especially in terms of things that I'm trying to learn more about as well, or skills I'm trying to really hone in on. So I have that in the back of my mind, like, oh, I wonder who I'm going to meet kind of thing. And then when I'm in the event, I think being present is so important too, because that guides you in a direction. So if I'm here for the event itself, then I'll be in the event, I'll be watching it, enjoying it, seeing how it's making me feel.
Because so you actually show an interest in what you're in the actual event. Yeah,
because then you have things to talk about with other people, and the people that I actually connected with, and I'm really glad to have connected with them. We started off the conversation talking about the event, and because they were also present and engaged, we all had something to offer. So that's where that.
God. sorry, God. It wasn't even. Yeah, God.
But because we were all present and engaged, I'm so curious now. But anyway, because we were all present and engaged, we all had something to offer in the conversation of value. And that was like the authentic human thing, to see what was moving everyone.
Do you, is it easy to see someone that's not there for those reasons? Like, is it easy to spot someone there that just thinks, I'm just here to try and meet certain people?
I don't know if I've ever noticed that.
No.
But I think I've noticed that more in like corporate spaces, and I'll come to that in a second in terms of like actual networking. But in those spaces, you can definitely tell who's just there to like turn up a little bit, which is fine. That's what you're there for too,
That's fair.
If you're just there to enjoy the show. But I think because I like to see what's going to come from that, knowing I'm going to be around creative people, I want to make the most of that energy.
Have you ever felt yourself doing too much?
I never really do too much, I think I'm naturally quite a out there person, vibrant person, I'd say. Charismatic and charming. No, I'm joking. But naturally like that. So I already feel like I'm doing too much.
From the outside looking in, it might appear that way.
I don't know. That's not really the feedback I get though. I think internally myself,
do you know why you won't get that feedback? Because you're being genuine.
Yourself.
Yeah. If you was putting on an act, maybe, but
yeah, I don't know. I hate that because I feel like people can see it,
Yeah, no, that
and
makes
also
sense.
I just cannot do that. Like if I feel like I'm forcing something or whatever, small talking, I can't do it. Like I'll just move to another group.
Is there anything that you won't do, like 100% you won't do in a networking event if you're trying to network with people? that you personally won't do? Not that you don't think anyone else should do.
It's so hard to answer this question in terms of like these kind of networking events, because I've never like gone to events to network, because I'm only just starting out with my like taking my creative journey seriously.
Have you been to an event where there's like a panel of people speaking or anything like that?
Yeah, I've gone to a panel actually, but that was to support a friend in a totally different realm from me.
So you wasn't really there to...
I did ask questions though.
No, but I meant like after...
To
You didn't feel the need to try and speak to the people on the panel or anything like that?
No, not really. Yeah, I was literally just there to support my friend. But if I'm at a networking event properly, one thing I won't do is probably get drunk.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Can always do that after with your friends, do you know what I mean? But I wouldn't really get drunk.
Yeah.
I will drink,
yeah,
but I won't get drunk. The second thing I probably would never do, you know what? I'm thinking more like corporate events, like conferences and stuff like that, where you've got like all these people there who are potential clients, to get to know, talk to, exchange business cards with. And I love events. I'm so good at them because the point of an event is, remember, these people on the stands are your clients, but the people who are attending are their customers. So you don't want to get in the way of their business because they've paid to sponsor, be here, have a stand, to connect with their people. So one thing I never do, and I saw one of my colleagues do it and they were just irritating the person. They just start asking like salesy or businessy questions there and then. That's not what I feel you're meant to do at an event, and I would never do that. What I would do, which sounds counterintuitive, but that's not what you're meant to do.
Not meant to.
Yeah, because what I did, and it worked successfully for me, was go to the stands, take the freebies, enjoy myself, get to know them, and just get a business card and make an impression to follow up with later, rather than kind of feeling like you're distracting them from the job that they're doing.
Yeah. I guess that's when there's like a, you know what they're there for. They're there for a purpose. Like,
exactly.
Don't come and interrupt that almost.
Yeah. I think with events as well, say if you saw a performer and you want to talk to them and stuff like that, I think it's being intuitive with knowing that they've probably just performed. A lot of people are saying that's great, and now they're trying to chill out and enjoy their night. Yeah. So it's knowing the difference between that, and I feel like people can kind of spot you a mile away as well sometimes.
Yeah, definitely. But you see me, my problem is I am who I am, right? Like I'm very chilled out in certain, well, most occasions. Every occasion. All right, cool. But like, if I'm in an event, right, and I see too many people going up or waiting to speak to someone, I'm not gonna join that. I'm just gonna, like, joining the queue is actually such a mad look. I feel it's crazy, but you see people hovering around waiting for their moment, right? Yeah, I can't do that, me personally. But at the same time, I might never get to speak to that person because of that reason. Stay in the vicinity, keep your eye out, and then swoop in when it's time. Maybe so, but there's an element of it where I'm just like, you've just had 5 people try and talk to you around the same thing. I don't want to be number 6. So if I do get to speak to you now, I might even just say 2 lines to you and keep it moving. I don't think that's necessarily the best mentality, because you could be the 6th in the line, but you could be the one. No, of course. So, but this is what I was about to say to you. With what I would say to them, wouldn't be a pitch. Like I wouldn't be trying to pitch myself onto them or anything that I'm trying to get from them or whatever. I literally would just have a genuine human conversation. Whether that lasts for 2 minutes or for 10 seconds. What do you talk about? Anything. Like I'm quite good at picking up on stuff. So even if they're just like, as you know, I'm an observant person, innit? So if something's happened, or if they're, say, like, I don't know, I can just think of anything on the spot, right? But I think there was even one time now. I'll get onto this part, There is times time and a place to try and network with someone,
Okay.
business wise anyway. So I've been in a location, right? There's a guy that I'm familiar with, and he's talking to a girl, but she's walked off, right? So he's waiting by himself. I looked at it and I was like, I could go talk to him right now because he's by himself. But I'm not going to do that. He's out talking to a girl. The last thing he wants right now
is you.
Literally. Literally, right?
That is true. That's like, I really do not want to be, I'm trying to wait for this girl. That's actually jokes. And then you come along like, hey, I'm familiar with it.
Move, man. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. Nobody.
No, they don't. They don't.
All right. So I just let him crack on, do what he was doing. I went outside. This is towards the end, obviously. I've gone outside. He's come outside with said girl. Cool. They're walking past me.
You're like, my opportunity. It's coming.
No, at this point, I'm just like, it is what it is. Like, I'll see him again, innit?
Yeah.
He stops, looks at me, and like he nods or whatever. I'm just like, cool. Again, I'm just gonna let it go. Then he asked me or something. He might ask me for a lighter or something. And I said, nah, I ain't got one or whatever. He's like, all right, cool. While he's asking me, the girl's now talking to another girl. So I'm like, all right, cool. She's occupied. He's talking to me. Again, I didn't want to keep him because I know what's going on here, innit? You're trying to slide off, whatever. All it was the girl saw another girl that she knew and she was turning around to say bye to them.
That is divine timing. I love it.
Cool. Even in this moment, though, I can't remember exactly what I said to him, but it was just along the lines of, I said whoever he was, introduced myself, and I was like, I remember saying something like, oh, no, I don't want nothing, it's just an introduction. I don't want nothing from you, it's just an introduction. I'll see you around or something like that. I'll see you again or something like that. And I could tell by even that, you know when someone walks off, what they're in thought, like what just happened? Because he's probably so used to everybody trying to be like, oh,
give me your number,
or
have you
take
got
mine,
Instagram?
this, that, the other.
Yeah,
all I said was, I was like, oh, I don't know what his name was. I can't remember. Well, I do know, but I don't want to say it. I'm thinking I don't know what the words was. But let's say it's you anyway. I was just like, oh, Kam, yeah? I know what you do. I'm Darren. Nice to meet you. Boom, boom. He's like, all right, cool. And I was just like, yeah, no, that's it. It's just an introduction. I don't want nothing from you. And he was like, all right, cool. Kept it moving. I feel like, and next time I saw him, he gave me a nod, but again, I didn't even want to do the whole, because he was
like you're sabotaging.
No, because again, he was in, I can't remember where it was, but he had a little section to himself, innit?
Right.
And I wasn't going to be that guy to walk over and be like, oh, yeah. Like,
is there room for one more?
It's not me, innit? So he just gave me a nod. I gave him a nod. I ain't never seen him since, And I don't know if because this was years ago, I don't know if I see him again, if he'll even remember that.
Yeah.
But there's a chance that he would because of our interaction. I could have made that better, or I could have done what I intended to do in terms of getting a link with this person. Who knows? But I felt more comfortable leaving it as that than, like you said, forcing a situation where he turns around and is like, I don't know, like if he did give me my number and I phone him now, I'm not answering that.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, just another person who's trying to, it's
so sometimes you can't put too much pressure on this networking thing. Like, you have to get something out of it.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just because the same way that the only reason I know his face is because I've seen it so often, would be the same reason why he would recognize me, because he's seen me in certain places so often.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you just become a familiar face. Then that eases the whole talking to you thing.
Yeah. It's true. And you know what? It puts you forward as someone of value as well, because you're just like, you want to work with me too, And
you know what as well, yeah? There's an element of it where, especially if you know that you're going to be frequent in these type of spaces, right? If you've seen someone one day and they keep seeing you everywhere, but you're not making a beeline for them every time you see them, like, they just keep seeing you around naturally, no matter where you are in the world. if you keep going to a certain place and you keep seeing the same person, you're going to recognize them because it's that
familiarity.
Yes.
Don't worry, I got you.
I had to push the mic away because I stumbled. Naturally, right? Just like naturally. No matter where you go to your local shop. It's just that thing. Like if you see someone so often, it's just they're gonna stick in your mind for whatever reason.
To each other, yeah.
So sometimes, if you know that you're gonna frequently be in certain spaces, it's not even a pressure to always run up on someone and talk to them all the time.
I agree with that, because I feel like whenever there's someone that you have in mind that you want to connect with, and you don't force it, you allow things to happen naturally, because I believe that you are drawn to certain people for a reason, and they are also drawn to you. So sometimes you don't need to get in the way of the work that the universe is doing for you. You just need to show up, have a good time. And I think if you're really networking and the intention behind your networking is I'm trying to grow this thing that I'm doing, then your networking doesn't even necessarily have to be people. It could be the event itself that gives you something, inspiration or an awakening or whatever. And if you're really having a good night, you can get all of it. And I think if you just go in with an open mind, because sometimes I feel like when we think, okay, I need to network, you put so much pressure on things. And that's happened to me before, where I've gone to like networking things once and I just didn't talk to anyone because it was weird and awkward for me. But if you put me in a normal room, like a normal event, this is stuff I'd be doing naturally. So
I've been there though. I've been to like a networking event. It's dressed up as a networking event, but it's like one of those same things, like a panel of people. It's a great networking event. I've gone there and I've left without speaking to anybody new. I still spoke to like a few people that I knew there previously, but I didn't speak to anybody new.
Yeah.
And I went home and I was like, did I miss an opportunity? Was that a waste of time? But then the next time I went, same thing happened. I didn't really reach out to anyone, but I ended up speaking to new people. And I was like, I didn't waste my time last time, It's just getting comfortable in that room, in that environment. Sometimes you need to just feel it out. Like you can't, it depends on the type of person you are.
Yeah.
But I can't go in these places 100 miles an hour, like trying to speak to everyone moving.
No. And then you're just that guy in that place, It's
not a good look.
It's not. It's a look at it. It is what it is. But I just feel like, I don't know, with me anyway, when I'm noticing the person who just knows everyone, it's like, oh, blah, 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 I'm running off and talking to this or talking to that. I'm not really impressed by that.
I think the thing for me as well, I attend a lot of these stuff by myself sometimes. So it's like even worse if I'm there by myself to just be trying to talk to everybody.
Yeah.
I'm comfortable just chilling.
And it's quality, not quantity, seriously.
100%.
What do you think about networking outside of events, like in your regular places?
Glad you brought that on. So going back to what I said about people being familiar with yourself, I think, there's a very, very good thing that you can do in life in going somewhere often and building up that relationship with someone, whether it's a local coffee shop, whether it's a local whatever, like going somewhere frequent where the person that is serving you, let's start with that service type of place. A person that is serving you often recognizes you.
Yeah. And
you can build that level of
one thing I'll say is you're so good at that. Seriously. Like you're actually so good. I've just never seen you look humble before. That was so sweet.
Do you know what?
Oh my God, that's on camera. You really look like
I wasn't expecting it. I wasn't expecting it.
I've just never
do you know what's crazy?
That expression, but I really recognize it. You honestly are so good at that, seriously, because you'll just like really give time to everyone in the room, even when we're doing the podcast, you've really built strong relationships more than just the hi or bye. So how did you do that?
Again, I think like I said, we could literally go to places. We could go to different places every time if we wanted to go record different places. What, me stumbling or
No, I'm just
the humbleness
no,
hit me?
it's just the expression. I've just never seen it before. It really warmed my heart.
The
but yeah,
craziness is that I felt it internally and I couldn't stop it externally. Don't do that ever again in your life.
In my head, I'm like, I need to compliment you more.
That was crazy. That was crazy.
In all these years.
That was crazy. That was like a bad beat. That's crazy.
It was
That is
beautiful.
wild.
Go on.
Yeah, no. So imagine now that we just decided to go record plenty different studios, etc., etc. I really value relationship building and a level of loyalty. And it's like, if you're serving me well, there's no reason for me not to, right?
Yeah.
Plus, I also think it's important in the places that you put yourself in. Like, imagine, no disrespect to anyone out there, yeah? Let's take away the podcast thing for a minute. But imagine, like, you go to a rundown sandwich shop every day.
Sandwich.
Yeah. Type of people that you're going to meet there, more than likely ain't going to be the type of people that you want to build a connection with. They might be, but they might not. Where if you go to somewhere a bit more, depends again what you're looking for. But if you go to somewhere that's a bit more upmarket, let's say, you know the type of people that's in there is going to be a bit more to what you're looking for. If that's what you're looking for. Do you know what I mean? So I treat that in every aspect of my life. So wherever I'm going, as long as it's all good to me and it feels good for me to be there, I'll consistently go there and try. I don't like know what you're laughing at.
I just got the giggles out. I'm trying to shake it off.
I'll frequently go somewhere so I can build a rapport with someone. And I don't know, again, I'll treat everyone as a human, right?
Yeah.
So why not?
But because I find small talking so hard.
Yeah, but there's small talk and then there's talk. Like, what's small talk to you? How do you
move to the even simple things like how's your day? So
yeah, but that's boring though.
But it's so valuable. Like, there's this one guy that I went for drinks with, and this place, he'd made friends with not really made friends with, but gotten to know the guy who works there just from the last time he went there and was working. And then the guy came over to get our bill or whatever.
Sorry, let me pause you. I'll take back what I just said because I realized what you just said. So I'll take that back. It's not boring. Continue.
Quick disclaimer, okay?
Because yeah. Anyway,
you're like, you're not going to prove me wrong. I'm on your side.
No, because I am actually on your side and I believe I know what you're about to say.
Yeah, you do. I told you this.
Oh, is this? Okay,
yeah.
Cool.
But yeah, so before the people who are hearing this for the first time, yeah, it was really good because I was just observing how he was talking to this person who was working there and he was taking our bill. And it was really simple things that people just aren't really asked. So he was like, how's your day going? How's it been? Things that I will be honest would never care to ask about because I don't really care to know. But you don't realize how valuable it is to that person and how much of an opener it is, because then the conversation
can go from there.
Exactly. And it's such a easy, open-ended question that's just friendly but not intrusive.
Yeah, no, definitely. No, why I took that back as well is because it goes back to my point of adding the human element to someone. Like, if you're just being spoken to all day, like, I don't know, where was it? A bar?
Yeah.
If you're being spoken to all day and people are just ordering stuff from you, nobody really cares or is taking the time to ask you,
how's your day going? And what I realized is when I feel I'm being personable to people in those situations, I'll make jokes or be really friendly, or talk about my day, and that makes the exchange between us more pleasant. That makes you a good customer, but that doesn't really get you over the line as someone to remember, or to build a connection, to go from customer to connection.
But again, you got to be patient with some of these things. Some people will go in a place and expect to build that straight away.
Yeah, and this was the second time that he had been seeing these people, so the rapport was built and he was building on that, but it ended up in them exchanging numbers, potentially talking about working together in some kind of way. So yeah, it was really good for me to observe because I was like, oh wow, like it's not actually super high energy all the time that builds a connection. It's that kind of
Gradual pace.
Yeah.
I've done
More
that recently.
intentioned.
Yeah, I've done that recently. Going somewhere often and like speaking to the person, and like every time I go there, the conversation adds on to the prior conversation. So you might reveal something to me the last time we spoke. Let's say you just told me you're studying something. I'm like, cool. All right, cool. Left it that day. Gone back another day. Not necessarily the next day, but like a week later or something. And I've just asked you about it.
Yeah.
That already within that person is going to be like, oh, so that wasn't just small talk. That was like, that was small talk at the time. It seemed like small talk, but there's an added layer to it because you've come back and you remembered it.
Yeah.
So now it's a conversation. It's not just small talk, right?
It's true.
And I think that's how I do it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like allowing people to be seen or say, oh, how is that thing? Like, how's that going now or something? And it's those small
but you can
bits
literally,
of consideration.
you can get it out of anything. Like even if you just see someone and you go somewhere. So even like here, let's say, and he says to me, oh yeah. I'm like, oh, you're all right? And he's just like, I'm just tired, man. And he doesn't say anything else, yeah? Cool. Next time I come, I could pick up on that and be like, what, you still tired, yeah? Or something like that. And already that's just...
You've built a rapport.
Just
You've
like that.
seen each other. I love that. It's
just
that,
like that
easy.
Literally.
That's
and then
so true.
your conversation builds. Next thing you know, that's somebody that potentially, even if you're not even looking for that, potentially that's someone that's now in your network because they might do something or just your conversation building, they might reveal something. Like, okay, cool.
Just taking one little bit from the previous thing and building on it. That's so helpful to know because I feel like even at work, that's a good way to be more, what's the word I'm looking for? There's a word, I'm not going to find it, but to be more personable, I guess,
yeah, 100%.
with your employees as well. Not your employees, but the other people that you work
colleagues.
with, your colleagues. Where have the words gone? But yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So yeah, I think
those
that's
little
it.
Things.
But again, that takes patience and you knowing that you're going to be in those places often. If you don't know and you think it's a one-shot deal, then I think the only way that you can do that is to be transparent with the person. I guess it's kind of like, as a guy, when you're trying to talk to a girl, right? Like, you don't know if you're going to see her again. So you got to be transparent.
So what do you mean?
I don't know. It's been a long time. I'm just saying. I'm just saying no, but like.
So I'm like, hold on.
No, say like so.
Yeah.
All right. Back when I was outside, if there was a girl that I saw, and I didn't think I was going to see her again, I would have to be
clear with your intention.
Yeah, like there's no mincing around of, oh yeah, I might not see, like I'll see her again, unless it's like somewhere where I know I'm going to see them again. Let's say it's a train. I don't know I'm going to see you again. I might, but I might not.
Okay,
you'd have to be.
It's what I was picturing, but go on.
Because I couldn't think of something that, I could have just said walking down the street or a bar or whatever. But anyway, that's beside the point because it's all hypothetical.
Yeah.
So like, I would have to be very intentional. I couldn't do the whole, let me gradually build this up. So I would have to go there and speak to her and let my intentions be clear in terms of my transparency. I couldn't go there and try and weasel my way around the conversation, if that makes sense. Like I couldn't be like, oh yeah, I noticed you've got da-da-da-da-da.
You got to shoot your shot.
Literally.
While it's there, that's true.
And I think you've kind of got to look at networking in a one-off moment in the same way. If there's someone there, you've got something to say to them, go about it in the right way, of course, but just be transparent. Don't try and weasel your way into it.
I like the transparency thing because if someone's doing something that you think is amazing, there's nothing wrong with being like, oh, wow, that's really cool. Because then you can use your excitement to open up other avenues in that conversation. Like, oh, so how'd you get into that? Or, what do you love about that, And
then it's for them to then decide whether they want to give you what you're looking for or not. Same as with a woman.
Exactly. Right? And more times, if that's not how you started the conversation and you've led to that point, they're going to tell you, you know, because you're already speaking. And what, like you said earlier on, when people can spot that you are being genuine, things are easier. Which is why also, if I'm speaking to someone that I thought I really wanted to speak to and it's just feeling a little forced, or I'm not feeling genuine or myself, and I know that that's not coming from an overthinking or anxious place, but you know, I'm actually just not really vibing with this person, then I don't force it.
You can't force it. I think that's the worst thing you can do, is try and force it. Yes, I've never
because
seen it
they
work.
might not be the connection that I need to make. They're the connection that I think I need to make. But it's like what you said, sometimes it's not the person who is all the way up there. It might be the other people around you who are going to teach you what you need to know.
9 times out of 10, that person can't offer you anything.
Yeah.
It's like that whole phrase of, I mean, that whole scenario of
Elon Musk.
No. Have you heard the scenario of, would you take, I can't remember how much it is. Let's say, would you take £1 million or dinner with Jay-Z? Have you heard about that?
Oh, yeah.
Right. And it's like, a lot of people are like, no, I'll take the dinner with Jay-Z.
I'd take £1 million.
100%. And then someone was like, so imagine
I could buy Jay-Z dinner.
You imagine you go and sit with Jay-Z and then he's like,
on his phone the whole time.
No, not even that. He tells you what you need to do. But in order to do that, you need
£1 million. Exactly.
Like, so sometimes it's like,
don't always chase the golden egg.
Nah, so you're better off being resourceful. Sorry, that's what I was trying to say. And like I said to you earlier, sometimes being resourceful is just looking in your immediate circle of friends or people that you know and building a network with them.
Yeah.
More times than not.
Yeah, definitely. And one way to do that, like I swear by it, is connecting deeply over the event that you're in. You know, it's more than an icebreaker. It's something that connects you instantly because you've both just experienced the same thing.
100%.
Even at that event, one of the artists, I thought she was just incredible and I really wanted to connect with her. And I told her at the end of her thing, I was like, you know, and I think this is really great as well if you are connecting with artists and creative people, is not to just be like, that was so good, that was amazing, how did you get into that, what did you use, all the questions that they answer over and over. I like to share exactly what moved me from what they did, you know, because again, with what you said, it's about people being seen and appreciated. And I think one thing every artist loves is knowing that their work connected to someone and hearing how that happened, you know.
That's a fact. You see, like even with my creative field, when I'm reaching out to people for collaborations and stuff, like I could easily go for the one that's the most popping, right? And I've noticed that when I have done and I don't get any response back, right? Within myself, I feel like an idiot almost. Like,
feel cheapened.
Yeah, like say if I've reached out to someone, and I know that even if I might like what they do, but I've reached out to them and I don't get anything back, I'll feel like an idiot because that message is there, innit? But you see, like if I've reached out to someone and I genuinely like what they do and I've put that in the message and they don't get back to me, I don't really care because I've really expressed that. Yeah,
you just wanted them to know that, you know. And to be honest, I feel like looking at it on the other side of networking, when you're the person that people want to network with, I think that's such bad practice to like not acknowledge people, you know. It's so easy to say, thank you so much, I'll look at your stuff, I'll get back to you, or just to say, this looks so good, but I'm not actually open for work right now.
So happy you brought it to that because that's the side that I wanted to flip it to, being on the receiving end of it.
Yeah.
So
I think it's just like your reputation is
literally
speaks for you.
And I'd always believe that you never know what number one, there's two things I always think when I meet people. You never know who someone is and you never know what they'll become.
I was just gonna say that.
So like you just gotta be, I don't even do it like with that intention in mind because I treat everyone cool. But it's part of it is that fact that you just don't know what this person,
and it's work ethic.
Yeah, it's nice to be nice. It doesn't hurt to just.
Doesn't hurt to be nice, and it's literally work ethic. Like again, you don't know who someone's going to become. You don't know what work you could do. You know,
even if you never work here, you see me. I'm a big man in it. I can take a no. Like I know a lot of people in this current generation don't know how to handle rejection. Yeah. But obviously, me personally, I'd rather you say no than say nothing.
Yeah.
If you say nothing to me,
It's so rude, you know.
Like-
Bottom line, it's just rude. It's like, oh, you think you're that big, huh? Okay. Like,
I don't feel entitled to a response. Like, respond in your own time,
yeah.
but don't just say nothing.
Yeah. Because it's like, okay, now I feel weird about you and I can't undo that because this is not your persona. This is your person and your person is rude.
I'll take a no all day. What I
Yeah.
don't like as well, though, is a false promise.
Yeah.
Like,
I just charge that one to the game, though.
I hear it, but don't try and keep me sweet just in case. I don't like that. Like, if I reach out to you and you're like, yeah, soon or one day or
soon come.
or when I finish this, I'll shout you. Just don't do that. Just be like, all right, I'm busy right now, but if and when I can make it happen,
Yeah.
I'll keep that in mind or something like that.
Yeah.
Don't be like, yeah, no, I'll shout you 100%.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
don't
not
do the false
necessary.
promising because I'm not going to chase you first of all, but I'm going to remember that you said that.
It's exactly.
And don't come crawling around when you see things are happening for me now because I don't like
that is a true part, like, because also again in that same breath of like work ethic as well, when you do make it in some way and then people do want to work with you just don't forget how they treated you before you got there.
Literally.
And you don't really want to work with them.
But it's hard though when you're on the receiving end of being the one that they're trying to network with when someone reaches out to you and you're like, in the nicest way possible, just not you, bro. Like, not like.
It's true though, and that's so normal, you know. Like, that's always gonna happen.
That's gonna happen.
You, as someone who's there, you can see someone who's not there yet. You know, that's normal, and it takes nothing to just say, "Oh, I appreciate that." You know, keep doing what you're doing. I'll keep you in mind. I just have too much on my plate right now. You could say anything.
There's ways that you spin it.
There's anything you could say. Just don't say nothing.
Nothing.
You know?
That's the worst thing you can do.
Yeah, it is the worst thing you can do because now you've not only tarnished a potential connection. Fair enough, you might not have wanted it, whatever. But now you have marked your reputation.
100%.
And people are going to hear about that. It's normal. It's natural.
Yeah, and then they're going to carry that feeling towards you.
Yeah.
It's not
you
right.
know, whenever I've done something creative and people have come up to me after, it's just such a wonderful feel. Like, I'm so appreciative of everyone who does that because I'm just like remembering that this is a moment I didn't even think I could have or do, you know, and people are connecting with your work and it's a beautiful thing to be acknowledged for that. So unless you're Beyonce, you can't just be ignoring people. Unless there's 1,000 DMs, don't ignore mine.
That's if you genuinely don't see it, then it is what it is.
Yeah.
But
if it says seen underneath, then please don't tell me that you've not seen it.
That's crazy. What's the time? We have to start rounding up. What's the most random place you've met someone and networked with them? Like, yeah.
What do you mean networked with them?
I don't know why I said networked with them. That was bad
like
English.
connected with them and something came from it. Probably a club.
That's the most random place. Where in the club? Because I feel like girls make friends in the toilet.
Seriously.
I've seen girls walk in the toilet, not knowing each other, walk out hand in hand.
It's so true. That is another really good place. But I feel like the person I'm thinking of in particular, like, we became friends after that. But it was literally like she came with a whole other group of people. I came with a group of people. We connected through just turning up. Been really good friends since.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wouldn't necessarily call that networking though. That's obviously making a friend.
Yeah. That's why I don't know why I said networking.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I guess in a sense, anyway, yeah.
Let me think. What are the random... Go on, you tell me.
Off the top of my head, I don't even have one, you know. I've met people that work in shops just randomly. Like, I've gone in there once and all of a sudden...
Besties.
Not besties, but like something's come from it, whether it's a shared business like or something. Like I said to you, coffee shop.
Yeah.
Gym.
Well, that is your skill.
Gym's not really random, is it? Because you're
not
there
really,
because
you're all bros doing your gym stuff, whatever.
I think I've met someone in like a reception.
Oh my god, actually, yeah. the most random networking thing, and this actually turned into a job for myself later, like a side hustle. There was this, when I was working in sales, there was this receptionist who worked for these clients that I had. So she'd always answer the phone, and then we would always have like a little chin wag, ask about our weekends. Because I called so often, we actually got to know each other, to the point where she was telling me about this side job she had and how much money she's making and blah, blah, blah. And then she put me forward for the same side job.
See?
It all, like, you just never, being personable and kind and doing what you said, you know, like all that stuff, it really does go a long way. Like, even one of my colleagues, she was writing in, you know, our shared Slack, whatever, she was writing about how she was going to be off for a little while because she's doing her studies, and it just took 2 seconds to message her and say, oh, good luck with your exams. It's just something small, but it's something that people really appreciate.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. It's just that level of empathy almost.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's nice. It's nice, man.
I love it when people do it to me. I feel like I didn't even think you'd listen to me. So it is nice.
And I firmly believe you meet people for a reason, whether it's fleeting or they're in your life for a long time.
I believe that 100%.
So I think it's always great.
One of the most random networking opportunities was me and you.
I know, but yeah, but that's using your resources that you already know.
I guess so.
To be fair. Like, yeah.
And now it started this whole podcasting thing just because we worked together, and I needed help on my radio interview, which I didn't get.
That's not even good.
I don't even want to talk about it.
Yeah. But it's
the funniest thing.
It just goes to show that, like, sometimes it's people in your life already that are the ones that you need to actually network with.
Yeah, you just never know. And I think being in a box with certain things as well, like even like, oh, I really want this person to tell me we're meant to work creatively. Like, I introduced 2 friends to each other, and they both like had certain things in common. And one of those friends was very enthusiastic and was like to my other friend, we're going to be best friends. Totally freaked my other friend out.
Of course.
And it didn't, obviously, nothing materialized because, again, it was by force. It wasn't genuine. It wasn't letting things unfold and actually connecting. It was being too overexcited by the idea of what something could be.
Definitely.
So, yeah. So to round up, instead of word of advice, I think we should do our top one do and don't for networking that isn't what we've said so far.
Okay. I don't know what this would be classed as, but don't assume that what one person does for someone, they can do for you.
That gave me goosebumps, actually. I don't know why, but that is true.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
That'll be my don't. Do I need to do a do as well?
I guess I can do a do. Since you want to sit in the glory of what you just said.
I mean, how do I top that?
All right. Do.
Do go first when you can.
For real. One thing at a networking event that you should do is dress well. Whatever that means to you, because if you feel like you haven't dressed well, that impacts how you come across 100%.
Feel good. Was it? Look good, feel good.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree.
Yeah. It's such a small thing, but it makes a difference.
You ain't got time to be questioning what you're
looking like.
Yeah, you just need to be comfortable.
And, you know, it is just a truth. People do judge you on how you look. That doesn't mean... That's
very true, but I think it's more important for you to feel comfortable. There's no point overdressing where you don't feel comfortable.
Exactly. Like, looking good doesn't mean go glitz and glam. Like, look good means when you leave the house, you feel like you look good.
Yeah, literally. And
I was in activewear at my event, but I knew I looked good, so it didn't matter.
It don't matter what you put on. It's about how you carry it.
It's how... Wear whatever makes you feel like you can carry yourself well.
Yeah, like I said, you ain't got time to be second guessing that if you're approaching new people.
And you haven't got time to get comfortable in a new outfit either. Like, again, be comfortable, but look good.
No, 100%.
Or feel like you look good.
I do want to add as well, though. Do speak to anyone that you feel
drawn to.
Yeah.
Don't
necessarily have to be the main event or the main prize in the room.
And don't, don't miss the event itself. You know, be present.
Yeah.
And on that note, do have a good day and don't forget to like and subscribe.
Yeah. And until next time.